Hello everybody, my name is Chevy and welcome to All Things Business Tech. We are going to be covering business related news stories from the tech world from November 20 to November 24. All links to the articles referenced are available to read in the description of this podcast. Our first news story is about Uber. The ride-sharing service entered into an agreement to buy over an estimated 20,000 vehicles from the company Volvo between the years 2019 to 2021. The intent behind this is to get a step closer towards autonomous driving, and for the first time in the company's history, Uber will now own a fleet of vehicles. Uber was also fined $8.9 million earlier this week by Denver, Colorado's regulators for allowing some of their drivers with past felonies to drive for them. Next on the list is the AT&T and Time Warner deal. AT&T is being sued and blocked by the U.S. Federal Department of Justice in closing its $85.4 billion deal to acquire Time Warner. AT&T is one of the world's largest telecommunications companies, and Time Warner is one of the world's largest entertainment companies with ownership of HBO and CNN. The department is arguing that the deal violates antitrust laws, as AT&T would dominate the market share, drastically increase the cost for rival companies to compete, and raise prices for consumers. The offer came about in October of 2016 with the intent for AT&T to enable access to premium streaming content on wireless devices for consumers. Our next news story is about Snapchat. The popular social media app is now letting companies buy Snap Stories as an advertising tool. The stories link snaps from users around the world about a particular topic and make it available for view on its homepage. This will create a new stream of revenue for the company, as the stories will pertain to the sponsors now and be available to 150 million of its users. Our next news story is about Alibaba. Being one of the world's largest online retailers in the world, it is now making its mark in the offline world as they purchased a $2.9 billion stake in the Chinese-operated grocery retailer Sun Art. The purchase gives the company a 36% share of Sun Art and a presence in over 450 of their stores. Over the past 2 years, Alibaba has invested an estimated $8 billion in physical retail locations, acquiring ownerships in companies Intime and Hema supermarkets. Our next news story is about Vest. Vest is a company which allows artists to sell their song rights to the public, who can then make money on it by collecting royalties or selling the rights to other investors. The 2017 startup uses blockchain technology, so the transactions only take place using the cryptocurrency Ethereum. It is now offering a round of tokens for a limited time to non-US residents, which can be used to purchase future song rights. Next on the list is BlackRock. BlackRock is one of the world's largest investment management firms, managing over $6 trillion in assets. It is now in works of creating its own exchange-traded fund using artificial intelligence, whereby computer selection will be the key driver for its trading. Exchange-traded funds are investments which make up a group of stocks from different companies and are traded on the stock exchange. Our next news story is about Marvell Technology Group. It is primarily a producer of semiconductor products which enable efficient processing of cloud, wired, and wireless networking. It confirmed last week that it is buying the company Cavium, which also specializes in the production of semiconductors. Marvell is paying $6 billion for the takeover and expects to have $3.4 billion in annual revenue as a combined company. Our next news story is about the Salesforce Q3 financial results. The American cloud computing company beat analyst estimates, extending their streak to 10 straight quarters. It reported revenues of $2.68 billion, which is a 25% increase over last year. It also raised its forecast for the final quarter in the year. It predicts a 20% increase in its total sales for next year, which would triple its revenues over 5 years if they succeed. Our next news story is about the HP Q4 financial results. Hewlett Packard, the maker of PCs and printers, topped analyst estimates last week. It reported $13.9 billion in revenue, while estimates came in at $13.25 billion. At this time last year, it reported $12.5 billion, which means its revenues increased 11%. Hewlett-Packard Enterprises, which is a spin-off of HP and a separate company which focuses on enterprise group and financial services, also reported its earnings topping analyst estimates. Despite the positive growth, Hewlett-Packard Enterprises shares fell upon hearing that CEO Megan Whitman will be stepping down. Our last news story is about Uber again. The company reported that over 57 million driver accounts containing personal information were stolen last year by hackers and kept as a secret. The hackers were reportedly paid $100,000 in ransom to delete the information under the watch of the former CEO, Travis Kalanick. All employees at Uber in association to making the deal were let go from the company, including Travis. However, Travis still currently sits on the board of the company. Earlier this fall, Equifax had a data breach which affected as many as 143 million people in America. That's it for the current news stories. Now for some updates from the last episode. Our first update is about Tesla. Canada's largest supermarket chain Loblaws has ordered 25 Tesla semis, while Walmart has also ordered 10. The next update is about the Qualcomm takeover. Broadcom is not giving up on its offer made to acquire Qualcomm, as it is considering raising its offer. Our final update is about the Bitcoin frenzy. In our last episode, Bitcoin suffered a 30% drop in its value at the start of the week and rebounded back to $8,000 by the end of that same week. It is now the end of another week and Bitcoin is trading at over $8,700 US. That's it for this week. All of the podcast episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and my YouTube channel, All Things BT. Please don't forget to rate this podcast, subscribe to be notified immediately when a new episode is released, and share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. Have yourselves a great week and see you in the next episode.